Well, some days are more amazing than others. And today certainly qualifies as one of those because somehow, some way, the Nationals split with the Philadelphia Phillies. They should have won the first game, plain and simple. They should have won the first game, and they should have lost the second. But you know what? Nats won the nightcap 6-5. Why? Almost. It's a good Sunday evening. I'm Ron Chuckett, and Ricky and I are going to do one of these together. How are you, Ricky?
I'm doing good, Ron. Nice to be back with you again. I think this is our first one together since opening day, if I'm correct.
It's our second one during the season. We've been blessed to have Chris Lacey do some of these with us, and we hope to have Drew Douglas, who actually sat through 9 hours and 14 minutes of baseball, give or take, today, because he was at that doubleheader for Mother's Day. Hopefully we'll get him to come in and do some of these too. But yeah, so overall it's a split.
I hope he got a bobblehead, by the way.
That's true. That's right. It was Trey Turner bobblehead day for Game 2 because it was a makeup for Friday. So it's a split. They take 2 out of 3. They don't see the Phillies until September. The Phillies should look dramatically different the next time that we see them. But it wasn't easy, either game. Your thoughts, Mr. Keeler?
Well, I think, Ron, you and I were talking about it during the latter stages of this game, too. And the story continues to be the bullpen. You can't sugarcoat it. It just seems that the more these guys pitch, the less confidence they have. Because whether it was Sean Kelly blowing Game 1, whether it was Coda Glover not getting Ty Kelly out, and that ended up losing that game, whether it's tonight having to use Jacob Turner, which now ruins your 5th starter plans for Wednesday potentially.
I would have taken the loss.
Yeah, which we'll get into. Right, you have Alvar Perez in your bullpen who you haven't used in a few days, and you're using your possible starter? Like, I just don't – the managing of this pen baffles me, and the fact that we're in May – what's today? May 14th?
May 14th.
And we still don't know who's in what role once the starter comes out. And we'll talk about Max Scherzer, I'm sure, but it shouldn't come to the fact that he's got to tough it out because your bullpen stinks.
We played 37 games. We're almost a quarter of the way through the season. Mm-hmm. And your guess is as good as mine who pitches in what role. I mean, it wasn't established in April, except for that Blake Trinan was going to be the closer. And we talked back and forth with people on Twitter. Well, you should just throw strikes. No, you need to know what your roles are. How this team is as good as they are with a bullpen as bad as they are is beyond. I said it on Twitter in the first game. The expectation is this is a championship team. This is a championship offense with a championship starting rotation with a bullpen that you can't trust to get 3 outs.
And here's your problem, man. Your bullpen, it doesn't matter what roles you're in if you can't throw strike 1.
Right.
None of these guys come into the game and throw strike 1. You got tonight where you have Matt Grace walks a couple of guys, and that leads to the Phillies scoring a couple runs in the Galvis triple. You have I don't know the exact case point, but Glover walks guys. Kelly, we talked about this before. I'd rather have Sean Kelly's outing in Game 1 where he's given up home runs and doubles.
Right.
At least he's throwing strikes.
Kelly walked 2 last night.
Right.
Let's go through quickly the totals for the first game. Joaquin Benoit was your winner. He goes to 1-2. Sean Kelly takes the loss. He goes to 3-1 as the Phillies scored 3 in the top of the 9th to win, and Hector Neris gets the save, his 4th of the year. 4 runs, 10 hits, an error for Philadelphia. 3 runs, 9 hits, and 2 errors. Let's start with – we go to – oh, I lost my mouse. Let's start with Gio Gonzalez. Let's go back to this first game since we're doing 2 here. 6 2/3 innings, 4 hits. A run it was there, and he kind of wobbled early and then really held it together. He ended up striking out 5. He gave up the home run early, but he only gave up the 1 run. He should have won that game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't have the quotes in front of me, but I will say this: I love the fact that he came out and defended Sean Kelly after the game.
It was a full quote. I saw that Zuckerman had a full quote. I mean, I'm delighted that players have each other's backs in public.
You don't see that from let's put it this way: you don't see Gio do that a year ago.
No.
He's confident now. And it's a great thing to see. Yeah, he still walks like 2, 3, 4 a game, and that has to be fixed, especially when you're facing tougher lineups. But he got the big outs when he needed to, period. He makes the one mistake to Tommy Joseph in the 7th inning. But really, besides that, I thought he had a decent start today. When you give up 4 hits, that's a great start. I mean, it's tough to evaluate these guys. We talked about Roark last week, where you give up 2 hits, but your command is out of whack.
Right. You know,
Gio's kind of the same boat. But right now, I trust Gio to say, you know what? I know what pitches are working for me. I know what the umpires calling in the strike zone, and I'm gonna get those outs. I don't see that with Roark. You guys talked about the other night. I don't see him. I think he's trying to throw the same pitch, expecting a call that he's not getting.
Right. Gio threw 30 pitches in the first inning, and you go, oh, great. You're going to first game of a doubleheader, and you're going to have to get 5 innings out of your pen in the first one. But he sailed right in. He threw 107 total, 60 strikes. Albers, who actually pitched both ends he was the only one that pitched both ends of the double dip, gets the hold. He threw 11 pitches for 7 strikes. Eddie Romero, who's an enigma wrapped up in a conundrum, 9 pitches, 6 strikes. But here's what the closers did. In 1 inning combined, Kelly and Glover gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, a walk, no strikeouts, and a home run. Kelly threw 24 pitches after throwing 25 last night. I mean, the whole reason why you named Glover as the other closer was so Kelly wouldn't have to pitch in back-to-back games, and he looked pretty weak in his 25-pitch effort on Saturday. Plus, Glover was backing up Romero out of the pen in the 8th. He was warm. I just don't get it.
Here's the problem you have right now, Ron, and I will agree. Kelly's outing was and it's tough to ask, and tough to ask a guy who threw 26 pitches last night, who just came back, hey, throw 20 more. Like, I don't want to put Kelly in that frame of mind. I understand why Dusty tried to do it, maybe get his confidence back and get him in the right mind, and even that didn't work. But they've given Glover a lot of opportunities. And yes, they haven't given him the clean innings, which is another story. But you give up a base hit to Ty Kelly, a base hit to Hernandez. I mean, Glover was pretty fortunate to get out of that inning with an Nats even having a shot to win that game. He was getting hit hard by the Phillies. So I think they've given Glover every chance, but the chances when he has an opportunity to say, give me that job, he's not showing it.
Well, as you said, you have to throw first pitch strikes. And neither one of these guys are doing it. Matt Albers is, and that's why he got a second save of the year. Let me quickly run through the totals for game 2. 6 runs on 8 hits for the Nats, no errors. 5 runs, 10 hits for the Phillies, 1 error. Jacob Turner somehow gets the win because he should have been tagged with a loss. Because Michael A. Taylor with a big home run in the 8th inning that gave the Nationals the win. So Turner goes to 2-1. Pat Neshek takes his first loss, his first decision of the year, and Matt Albers with the second save. Harper, by the way, tonight, Ricky, 3 for 4 with 2 RBI. And Michael A. with a game winner, 1 for 4, 2 RBIs. He did strike out 3 times, but all in all, he's had a good series. To me, his swing is so short and compact, it's effective. It's almost like he's swinging a broom, don't you think?
Absolutely. And he's more. And again, the theme is confidence. Michael Taylor is starting to feel confident at the plate. He's not letting counts get to 2 strikes as often. He's staying aggressive. And his 2-strike numbers I've talked about it when I do the DoDCast, are really bad. I won't bring them up because I feel bad bringing them up. So you got to just swing, hope you get a fastball down the plate, and take advantage of it. Michael Taylor is doing that right now. As for Bryce Harper, I know John Wall hit the big 3 that sent the Wizards to Game 7 tomorrow night, and best of luck to the Wizards because we won't be here tomorrow night. But when you have a 3-game series where you go 6 for 12 at the plate with a couple home runs, you drive in 5, you get a new contract, right, for 2018, Bryce Harper is the king of the weekend. I mean, he was coming up with clutch hits left and right, the double down the right field line. In Game 2 tonight, the home run in Game 1 where the fan puts a sign saying, hit another one. Next pitch, he hits another one. He's locked in right now, and you guys talked about it last night. But
yeah, he really is.
He's insane.
He really is at the point where the team is, climb on my back, boys. We're going to do some magnificent things together. Because this offense is incredible. Harper's consistent. He's just not swinging and missing anything outside the zone. when he does swing and miss, they're all low, but they're all, kind of over the plate. And the home run he hit last night in the double he hit today were golf shots. They weren't bad pitches. He just reached out and swung at them and hit them hard. Judo Joker says on the chat and YouTube, if you're watching, drop us a note there. And Ricky is watching Twitter tonight. He says, quote, "I'm glad that the Nats won tonight. So are we. But it's an absolute travesty that Max Scherzer will earn a no decision for tonight's game, and that bullpen is the main story again. Gio deserved to win too." Yeah, I mean, Scherzer took that ball off the back of his knee, Ricky. I'll get to his line in a minute. And then went out in the fifth inning and retired the side on 3 strikeouts and 9 pitches. He threw a perfect inning after he gets plunked on the knee.
100 miles an hour line drive off from Michael Saunders in the 4th inning. You see Scherzer on the ground in pain, and you're starting to wonder, oh no, what's going to happen now? If he goes in the DL, what do we do? And amazingly, throws one pitch and says, "I'm fine." Toughs out the 4th, gives up an RBI single. It gives up a couple of runs, I think, in that inning. But to tough it out, get the immaculate inning out of the way in the 5th inning, which was impressive. And then the 6th inning gives up a couple. But I thought at the end of that 6th inning, you saw Scherzer do his usual stalk the mound, empty the tank thing.
Right.
It's always so much fun to watch.
He was doing that in the 2nd tonight.
He's doing it in the 2nd. Every time we watch Scherzer, you see something different. But the mental toughness and the physical the mental toughness we know he has. The physical toughness is insane. I mean, there was no way Dusty should have kept him in that game. I understand everybody. I was on Twitter for game 2. I understand the bullpen's a mess. I understand nobody's going right in the bullpen. It's one game. I would rather have the bullpen give up 10 tonight after Max than have Max further pitch this game, aggravate the injury, whatever it is, and we'll wait for Twitter to tell us what it is. But I would rather not take that chance. And Dusty took that chance with Strasburg with the cramp, and he did it with Max tonight. I just don't get why he's risking the health of his 2 top pitchers.
It's an issue that will not go away. Scherzer 6 innings tonight, 9 hits, 3 runs all earned. He didn't walk anybody, though. He struck out 8. His ERA goes to 2.80 with a no decision. Matt Grace, who was the 26th player called up for the splitter, split doubleheader inning in the 3rd, no hits. A run it was earned and a walk, which makes you wonder why you didn't, especially with Gio pitching game 1, why you didn't bring up A.J. Cole, who could get you 4 innings if you needed it.
Dusty, by the way, said Scherzer, he's a man, he's a warrior. So if you're wondering, that might make the top 5 May quotes of the month.
Also up there in the Captain Obvious thing, too. But
we didn't say where it would be. It might be lower on the top 5. It's running.
Jacob Turner gets the luckiest win on the planet tonight because he didn't look good. 2/3 of an inning, a hit, a run. It was earned, a walk, and a strikeout. But because Michael A. Taylor hit the home run in the bottom of the 8th, he gets the blown save and the win. And Matt Albers, who goes an inning and strikes out 1, ERA goes to .61. So Scherzer, despite getting plunked on the back of the knee, 105 pitches, 73 strikes. Grace, 15 pitches for 7. Turner, 19 for 11. And Albers, 10 for 7. Is Matt Albers really the only reliable option in this pen?
Take away the Altair home run from last week, Ron, and he's been their best guy all season.
He hasn't given that's the only earned runs he's given up since he signed with the team in spring training. He didn't give up an earned run in spring training either.
It's scary, but it's true. I mean, the other guy that's been just as good as Matt Albers is the guy that's Alvar Perez, who doesn't get used anymore.
Right. So that's the other story is Dusty goes out and uses Jacob Turner tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the amazing win, and in the process won't be able to start the game Wednesday when they need a 5th starter in Pittsburgh.
And that puts your team in a big dilemma here because A.J. Cole is not eligible to come up. He would have been eligible to come up today, and they elected not to do that, only to Matt Grace to throw 14 pitches or whatever the number was. Now, Joe Ross is definitely not ready.
No.
I watched that start Friday against Scranton. They've been talking about his velocity still not there. He gave up a moonshot to Frazier. He did go 6 innings the other night, but not exactly what you want to see. I mean, obviously the signs all point, and they won't say this tonight, I'm sure. All signs point to Eric Fetty making his major league debut on Wednesday, and it's just something I don't agree with. I know that they put Giolito and Lopez up from Double-A to the big leagues. Doesn't mean it works. And he looked good Thursday night against Trenton. I watched that entire game against Justice Sheffield and the Thunder on MILB TV. His off-speed stuff is great. He still had some rough points in that game. I don't think he's fully dominated Double-A. He's looked great. I'm not ready to call him up. The problem is Austin Vote's been used already. Was used this weekend. Was actually used today. So they don't really have other options. So if Turner can't go, I think you're looking at Fetty against Garrett Cole on Wednesday. That's not a position I want to put him in.
You wouldn't call Ross back up.
No. I don't think he's ready. I don't think you're going to get the same things from Joe Ross. And I don't know what they told him to work on down there or anything like that. From 2 starts down there, and one was bad. I don't think Joe Ross has earned a call-up. I don't.
He was hitting, what, 88?
The start prior, I heard on the broadcast, he was hitting about 88, and that's scary.
All right, Judo Joker says, staying in the game, he's talking about Scherzer here. After taking a 100-mile-an-hour liner off the leg and then proceeding to pitch an immaculate inning is Hall of Fame stuff. I'd agree with that. each of those would be incredible on their own. Love that guy. No, I one of the people who helped me in elementary school as a caretaker, it's obvious I have some issues if you look at me, was her husband was a Vermont state trooper. And so he also did the double, things going to our school and did the don't do drugs things in there. And, the typical state trooper personality and all that. And so, this was, 8, 10, 11 years old in the 5th and 6th grade, and he'd look me in the eye and he'd tell me that he'd eat ground up glass with his scrambled eggs in the morning. And, you're young and dumb enough to believe that. But if Max Scherzer came up to me and said that he ground up glass and ate it with his scrambled eggs in the morning, I'd believe it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about, look, Mac, we know how tough Max Scherzer is. And Joe Joker's dead on the money. That's Hall of Fame kind of toughness. Sometimes, though, you have to separate the player from himself. Tonight was probably one of those instances.
Right.
You say, listen, Max, we know you're fine. I don't want to aggravate anymore. It's only the 4th inning. It's a start against the Phillies. This is not the Cubs. This is not the Dodgers. This is not a team that you really have to worry about beating going forward. It's not. We know how tough Max is, but sometimes it's great when you see the fights with Dusty and him staying in. Sometimes you got to corral back a little bit.
Tonight was not the night for that. Tonight was not the night to play a hero. And I'm glad to see that my story tonight went over as well as my story last night about my mother and the 6-pack of Moxie. All right. Rest of the division. Everything else except for the Houston Yankee game is a final. Houston and New York will split that doubleheader and lose Derek Jeter. The Yankees will lose Derek Jeter's retirement game. They're down 10-4 in the top of the ninth. The reason why I keep here we go, because I can't find the other scores. Miami beat Atlanta today 3-1. And the Mets blew a 7-1 lead to Milwaukee.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day, Mom. My mom is a huge Mets fan, and that's the game I know Nats fans out there don't want the Mets to win. That's the game I really want the Mets to win.
They don't have to worry
on Mother's Day. And Addison Reed gave up a 3-run homer to some guy with Manny Pena, and they lost 11-9. And they're going out to Arizona tomorrow, so it's getting worse for them.
If it makes you feel any better, it snowed today at Fenway Park. Tampa beat Boston 11-2. Let's see if there's any others here that kind of catch back. Oh, and Kansas City beat Baltimore 9-8. So Baltimore's kind of hit a tough skid, especially when they get swept by or lose at least 2 out of 3 to the Royals.
Let me throw something out there in terms of the out of town, and I tweeted it before the game. For those who don't know, I am a Yankees fan, so I was watching the Derek Jeter tribute. Props to Bryce Harper for quoting the Jeter tribute, saying he's not only the captain of the Yankees, but he's the captain of baseball. And you can insert Bryce Harper Yankee speculation here, but that was great to see Harper part of that video montage.
Nats traveled to Pittsburgh on Tuesday for 3. They beat the Diamondbacks today 6-4. And before I get to the minor leagues, couldn't figure out a way to throw this in. As someone who's decidedly not a Yankee fan and watched enough of Derek Jeter to over the years, I got to say that I think he's overrated in some ways, but in a lot of ways he's underrated. I think he means as much to your generation, Ricky, of Yankeedom as what Joe DiMaggio did in the 30s and 40s. DiMaggio's numbers aren't that great in comparison to Mickey Mantle or even Babe Ruth or Joe DiMaggio, but what Jeter meant to the Yankees overall kind of tops that. I mean, he really was the captain of the New York Yankees. And so, no, I think that should be celebrated. I have no trouble with all the pomp and circumstance that he got for that.
No, I don't either. And I think it just comes down to, it's not, when you look at Derek's career, I understand people that view him as overrated, and I get that. You have to look past the numbers. Doesn't have the greatest, he's got great numbers, no question. But it's always that he was in the right moment at the right time. I mean, every time the Yankees needed something to happen, whether it was the flip, whether it's Mr. November, whether it's the dive in the stands, whether it's the last game in the stadium, which I was fortunate to do a podcast with Jim Leyritz, who was in the press conference room after the game. I mean, he just finds a way to pull off the drama every time. Every time Derek made a play, you knew something great was going to happen. And you'll miss that. I'm a more of a Mariano fan than Jeter, but to me, they don't do the two guys. They don't do that run with the 4 titles and 5 total are Derek and Mariano.
There's only 4 Yankees I held, and well, there's probably more than that because Joe Torre kind of fits in that category. But as someone who grew up in the age of Reggie Jackson and Craig Nettles and Goose Gossage, Munson I got after he passed away. But you get Jeter and Mo. You can't hate those people. Even as a Red Sox fan, you can't hate those people. You may not like them, but I could never hate them. I felt that way about Yogi Berra too. You can't hate Yogi Berra. Judo Joker says, I'm conflicted because I agree with y'all that Max should have been taken out on his own. But wow, what a story for him tonight. Also, as a former Yankee fan here, was a huge Posada fan.
I liked Posada. No, I definitely. I would go Pettit over Posada, but I think Posada got overlooked in the. I wouldn't make him a Hall of Famer, but he got overlooked on first time on the ballot.
All right, minor league scoreboard for this Mother's Day. Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Speaking of the Yankees, beat Syracuse 6-2 today. Austin Voth with a loss. He goes to 1-4 with a 5.03 ERA. Matt Scrollhauer with his 5th home run for Syracuse. Trenton, speaking of the Yankees, beat Harrisburg today 2-1 in the first game of a doubleheader. Blackmar takes a loss. He's 3-3 with a 6.89 ERA. No home runs in that first game. As I scroll.
By the way, Austin Adams got hurt in that Syracuse game in the 9th inning, and he's arguably been one of the best relievers in the Nats minor league system. So if you're looking for reinforcements from the minors outside of maybe Joe Nathan, it's not coming.
Any word on that? You told me about that, and I forgot.
I don't have any word on that. I mean, maybe Syracuse until tomorrow, maybe something comes down along those lines. But I watched that, and he threw a fastball up in the zone and then looked down.
That's never good.
That's never good.
Second game of the doubleheader. Harrisburg 6, Trenton 4. Harrisburg goes to 15-20. Cordero takes the win 1-1 with a ERA of 13.17. Suero with a save is 5th. Some guy by the name of Ruth pitching for the Yankees 0-1 with a 7.20 ERA. Spencer Keyboom with a 2nd homer and Drew Ward with his 5th for Harrisburg. Potomac losers to Salem today, 5-2. Rodriguez takes a loss. He goes to 3-2 with a 3.51 ERA. No homers for Potomac. Hagerstown only managed to put 2 on the board, but they won. 2 runs, 7 hits in an error. Asheville in the Sally League. I get them confused with the Carolina League. 2-1 was the final. Fuentes with a win, 2-0, but his ERA is 6.59. Beck 2 solo shots. Beckwith with his 1st, and Johnson with his 9th.
Johnson hit that home run in the 9th to give him the win in that one. Tyler Beckwith, by the way, is the shortstop that was called up for Carter Keyboom. Beckwith had an excellent game today. 2 for 3 at the plate with that home run. And I think I heard FP say during game 1 he talked with Doug Harris that it's a hamstring for Keyboom.
Torn or what?
All I heard was hamstring. On the telecast. I'm not There was no mention of severity or anything like that. So just hopefully he's back soon, because the guy was tearing up for Hagerstown. But again, you talk about their offense is just so good without Keyboom and Juan Soto. They have different guys that come up big every game. And you look at the low levels have the offense. Kelvin Gutierrez for Potomac had 3 hits today and hit almost 300.
Such an exciting team to watch. And
we're going to hopefully be talking with Taylor Gushu, their catcher, who leads the Carolina League in home runs with 11. So you'll find that hopefully some point this week on the DoDCast.
Absolutely. All right. So a long day of baseball is done on this Mother's Day, and they end up with a split. So in the standings, they're fine. And they didn't lose any ground today because the Mets blew that big lead to Milwaukee. Pittsburgh coming up for 3 in Pittsburgh, and then it's back down to Hotlanta for a weekend series with them. You're pretty much stuck with me next week. You get Ricky on Tuesday night, but I think it's me the rest of the way. So your thoughts about the Pirates and what you would like to see coming up over the next 3 games?
Well, also throw out there, Trey Turner, great plays tonight. Short, had a jump throw, diving play, save a run in the middle of game 2. For those who thought he was going to be a bad shortstop, think again. He looks fantastic.
He's wonderful. He's a wonderful defensive shortstop.
But you look at this Pirates team. They did get a nice win today in Arizona, but they've had a lot of things go wrong for them this year. They just got David Freese back, but of course Starling Marte's out with the PEDs. Jung Ho Gong still has his legal issues in Korea, so that's never good. Jamison Talion, we wish him all the best as he's trying to beat the testicular cancer.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's been a rough go of it, but they have Garrett Cole going Wednesday. He's been good this year. Pirates toward the bottom of the Central, and you look at the Nats' schedule over the next month. It's bottom seller team after bottom seller team. If you want to run away from the division, this is the stretch to do it. You've got Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Seattle, San Diego. Seattle's got no healthy pitching. San Diego, San Francisco, Oakland. You want to get to where you have a 12-game lead on June 5th when you play LA? You've got to roll through these games. But I'm looking forward to seeing what Strasburg does on Tuesday. He has a good record against the Pirates in his career. He's looked good this year, especially with the ground ball outs. They're going up against a guy by the name of Chad Kuhl, who pitched pretty well against the Nats last year in July. If you remember, he was the starter in that 18-inning ball game. But you have McCutchen to watch out for. Josh Bell is a good hitting first baseman. Polanco's starting to heat up. So they have guys that, while they may be struggling, there's still guys on that offense to keep in mind. And Tony Watson's a pretty good closer still.
And maybe tradable, depending on what the Pirates decide they want to do this year too.
Great, more top prospects going to Pittsburgh. That's exactly.
There we go.
They already have Felipe Rivera, who's thrown over 100 for Pittsburgh. So if you're looking for a Nats reunion, you'll probably see Felipe Rivera at some point this week.
Did Dave Dunning pitch well tonight for Chicago too?
I don't know. Hey, look right now. Lucas Giolito is dropping in prospect rankings, as well as Ronaldo Lopez. So even with the Nats winning that trade outside of Dunning and Winston-Salem.
Yeah. All right. So that'll do it. The Washington Nationals split a doubleheader. Their lead in the National League East is still rather substantial. And nothing will be solved tonight or by a trade anytime soon. All right, so you can follow Ricky at Rickinator555 on Twitter. You can follow me at Ron Juckett on Twitter. You can follow the blog at District on Deck on Twitter, districtondeck.com. Like and subscribe to these videos because we do one after every game day. Like today with doubleheaders, we're not going to do them for separate for both games, but every game day we'll do one of these, and Ricky's interviews as well. Today we did Drew did the Player of the Week, which is Jason Worth. And what did you do for this? You did a preview of Alex Lang. Tell me a little bit about him.
Okay, well, the draft is, for those who don't know, is a month away. So we're going to start looking at some players that might show up in your mock drafts or Baseball America, MLB.com, etc. Today we looked at a kid by the name of Alex Lang. He's a junior right-hander out of LSU. Nats drafted Andrew Stevenson out of LSU 2 years ago. Lang has over 100 strikeouts each of his 3 seasons with the Tigers, just through a complete game his last start. He's projected 17th by Baseball America, but Jim Callis on MLB.com project him at 25th, and the Nats have drafted a right-hander in the first round in 4 of the last 6 years. So maybe we'll look at more right-handed pitching, but maybe after losing Dunning to that White Sox trade, maybe the Nats try to replenish their pitching at the lower levels and go after another strong pitcher, right or left-handed, with the 25th pick, which Mike Trout was drafted 25th. So you never know what you'll get with that pick.
No, you don't. No, you don't. So tomorrow we'll be running. I'll have something something I don't know I'm writing about yet. We'll be up in the morning, which this video will be attached to. So if you're watching, if you come to this by reading what I wrote in the morning, then you already know what I did. And I'm not sure what Ricky's doing. So we'll have stuff for you all week as Ricky attends to some family fun stuff. All good stuff for him. So he'll be with you Tuesday night, and I'm with you the rest of the week. And for all of us at District on Deck, have a very good night and hope you really enjoyed your Mother's Day. Until Tuesday, we'll talk to you later.